Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to be looking at some friends who are reading to self. You'll notice some of my friends are reading to self great, and some of them are not so great. Here we have Miss Pyatt. She has her "Excuse me, I'm reading" sign up, and shh, I'm noticing there's her book, but Miss Pyatt is over here. Is she in her area? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs to the side. Mrs. Malachias is redirecting her and reminding her of all the things that she should be doing when she's reading to self. All right, let's see who else we have. Oh, and here we have Miss Rouse. I see her sign. It says keep out. I'm noticing her eyes are on her book the whole time. She's focused. Her body is still and in control. Think in your brain, is she a thumbs up or is she a thumbs to the side? I'm noticing she's also really looking at the pages. If you gave a thumbs up like Miss Peterson did, well, you are correct. And here we have Miss Lehocky. I see her sign, and I see all of her books are out. Does she look like she's reading to you? Let's see if Mrs. Malachias can help her get back on track. Remember, when we're reading, we're only reading one book at a time.
Your favorite is Little Bear. That's your favorite. Read your Little Bear, okay? Focus.
All right. Oh, there's Miss Atwood. She has all of her books in her book bin. Her eyes are on her book. Let's see, is she a thumbs up or a thumbs to the side? Oh, Miss Peterson is trying to interrupt her, but she is using her sign to help her remember and help her friends. Oh, Miss Lehocky. Nothing can interrupt Miss Atwood. She is reading to self. She is doing what good readers do. Miss Lehocky has not fixed it yet. Oh boy. Mrs. Malachias?
Come on, let's go. Clean up, let's go. We're gonna go.
She just needs to take a break.
Let's take a break. Reteach. Come on.
Mrs. Malachias is going to show her what good readers do out in the hallway. We believe in you, Miss Lehocky. Miss Pyatt is looking at her book, and she is doing exactly what she is supposed to. She's tracking the words in her finger. Her eyes are on her book. Great job reading, friends. We can't wait to see you reading to self.
Hi, friends. I hope you had a lot of fun watching our teacher helpers do read to self here at school. And I'm excited to show you some of the reading choices that you have for doing read to self at home until we can come back in the classroom and do read to self like we saw in that video there. Okay, so I am going to share my screen with you because I shared some things on Seesaw that I want to walk you through so that you know how to do this at home. So we're going to jump over here to Seesaw. And I want you to notice this screen right here shows the different things that you should have on your iPad at home with you, okay? Or you can always Google them like I had to here because I'm on my laptop, so it'll work both ways. But the first choice I want to show you here is Pebble Go. So this is actually a website and not an app, but you can always bookmark it. Your family can do that with you so that it'll stay on your home screen. But you can also hit View Original and click this as a clickable link to be able to navigate to that site if you don't bookmark it. Okay, so it works both ways, but the username is Snipes and the password is Read. So I'm going to jump over here to Pebble Go. I'm going to come to sign in. And we're going to go through this super quick because I hope my laptop doesn't die. If it does, it is what it is and I love you. All right, and the internet is slow. So your username again is Snipes, and your top secret password is read. Then you hit go. And you will have so many choices on here of nonfiction books. So when we're talking about reading genres, different kinds of books, different kinds of reading, like we talked about when we did our launch lesson, you've got all nonfiction here. You could read about animals, science, biographies. That's Miss Atwood's favorite, social studies, health. So let's click on biographies over here. And then you can go through and it will read to you. Okay, if you turn your volume up, there will be a speaker button.
Inventors and business leaders.
There you go. So you can hear that as you go over top of different things, it will read to you. All right. So hopping back over here, it says nonfiction articles about science, social studies, animals, and more. So you might choose to use Pebble Go as your read to self for the day. Let's check out Epic over here. Okay. It says that you can find the Epic app on your iPad. Our class code is these letters and numbers, and then you click on your name. So if I come over here to Epic, on the computer, because I don't have an app, I have to hit login. So if you're using a laptop or a computer, you can go through it this way. You're going to use the student side of things, and here's where you type in that class code. But it'll kind of look the same on your iPad, where you have to type in your class code and then hit go. I think our internet's kind of sleepy today. So while that's thinking about it, it says it has a wide range of picture books, both fiction and nonfiction. So Pebble Go gives you true information about a lot of different things. Epic, you can choose between made-up stories with characters and a setting or to learn information. But what I love is there's so many choices on Epic. So we're going to be a guest student. And you'll kind of have to navigate through this. There's going to be tons of things for you to click on and try out that I'm not going to be able to show you today. Okay? But you've got some new releases up here. You've got some different popular series that are going to load. I love Scaredy Squirrel. Top books that other kids are reading. So you can click, and most of them will read to you. But if you want specifically just books read to you, like through a speaker, you can click on this one right here, and it'll narrow it down by that. So again, these are picture books that you might find in your regular library, but because a lot of libraries are closed right now, maybe you can't go to the library, just like you can't come to school. So this is a great place to find a lot of the books that you would normally pick up and read at your house or at a library or at school. So that's Epic. Okay, let's go down here to Kids A to Z. It says you have to find the robot app and that I sent you your username and password card in Seesaw. It says you have to check your inbox. Okay, so we're going to X out of this, reading A to Z, and you know what? I need to go to Kids A to Z because that's the teacher side of things. Here we go. So if you were on Seesaw and you were looking for your username and password, you'd have to come back over here to the inbox, okay, where I also just sent you the reading information. And you'd have to go back to the top to one of the first things I sent, and it looks just like this. Okay. So remember, we're sharing this classroom with some kids in Miss Oberle's class, and Miss Shull, our treasurer, is the one who set up the account and paid for all of these things. So it might feel a little confusing to not type Miss Peterson's name as your teacher username. A Shull 1. But that's because Miss Shull paid for our account. So we'll be able to use her name to get on, and then you need to be able to find your name. Okay, and when you click on your name, like let's say I'm going to be my friend Zaire. Okay, you'd use your password card to figure out your password. And then once you're in here, you have two choices, okay, about different places that you can go. But by reading the books on here, or listening to the books and taking the quizzes, you can earn lots of cool stars to like build your very own robot. So in the level up section, is where you've got books that you can listen to, you can read by yourself, and once you've done those things, the little question mark will come up and you'll be able to take a quiz, and that'll be how you earn the stars up here to build your robot, okay? So notice that there's alphabet letters up here that talk about the level that you're working on right now and how to get to the next level. But if you go back to reading and you go to your reading room, okay, it's also going to pick out books that are on your level as long as you're under this one right here, reading room. Or if you come over here and click leveled books, okay, here are those alphabet letters at the top again. So this is really a place for you to practice your reading because the books that Mrs. Peterson has put on here for you are special to your reading level, where we find that good fit of things that are a little bit easy and sometimes a little bit hard, but they're not too easy and they're not too hard. So this is where we make that really great growth as a reader, as long as we can kind of stay in this range here. The closer you go back this way, it's going to get easier, and the more you work up the other way, the more it's going to get harder, okay? So that is Kids A to Z with your password card. So if I come back down here, I can see we've done Pebble Go, I can see we've done Epic, we've done Kids A to Z, but the last choice says there is no substitute for a good book. Feel free to read something you have at your house. Just like you saw our teacher helpers doing in the other room, you might have an actual book that you want to sit down and read, and that is fabulous. You don't always have to be on something electronic to do your work. If you put the electronics away and you sit somewhere special in your reading spot with a real book, we love that just as much, if not more, than you using some of our apps here, okay? But before we finish up with this job, I want to show you the activity that's going to go along with it. Okay. It is reading log. Okay. This is where you're going to track your daily reading. You're going to use the typing tool to record the books you read each day. And this might be a family job. That's why it says families will track their reading, because I don't think boys and girls would be able to do all of this by themselves. But I think that you could work together as a family to get this job done. So after you type the books that you've read that day, you're going to use the highlighter tool to show if you used an app or if it was a real book. That way I can go back if I'm like, oh my gosh, that book sounds awesome. I can find out where you read it. So maybe I share it with our friends, or I can kind of check in what level it was at, just so I can have a better conversation with you about all the great books that you're reading. Okay. And I also want you to highlight what kind of support you had, if any. Right? So we'll talk about what that means for support when we get into this picture here. It says we will provide stickers for each book you read. So we'll see that when we pull up the screen as well. Do not submit this to me every single day, okay? Because I want you to read every single day, but I don't need to get it from you every single day. It says save as a draft until Friday. So this is like a week-long job for you to have. We will assign a new log for you each week. You can also record any reading you did over the weekend. So you're going to send the log to me on Fridays, but you'll get a new log to start over the weekend, right? Or on Monday, and that's where you can put your weekend reading activities. It says on Friday afternoon, submit it by clicking the green check mark. So I'm going to push this out to you today. I want you to practice getting on some of those apps. I want you to practice recording it on your log here and using that orange check mark. And I want you to do it again tomorrow, and I'll put it on your Fun Firsty Friday slide. And then we'll practice hitting the green check mark tomorrow afternoon so that you can send it to me, and I'll give you a fresh log next week. So let's see what this actually looks like. Okay. Remember, if you forget what to do, you can always come up here to the View Instructions screen, and it'll pop up again for you. Okay. Please use this log to record daily reading. We would love for students to read 10 minutes or more a day. Right? So 10 minutes is the minimum. If you can read more than 10 minutes a day, your brain will get even bigger and stronger. But you're going to come over here to this typing tool. You're going to type the date. So today is the 27th. You use this little tool to make it however big you want to fit it in this little box over here. You use the typing tool. Let's pretend I read the Dr. Seuss books. Go, dog, go. Okay. Put that right in here. And then I can switch to the highlighter tool and say that I read an actual book. So you'll see Raz Kids, Epic, Pebble Go, book. And I did it all by myself. So I'll use the highlighter tool over here. But maybe sometimes, like if you were on an app, you just listened to it, or maybe it was a bedtime story that you just listened to. Maybe you worked together with your family to read it. You read some of the words and your family helped you with some of the words. So that would go here under I got like some help. I didn't listen to the whole thing. We did it together. Or if you did it completely by yourself, okay? Meaning you actually solved the words. Not you got on the app all by yourself and heard someone else read it to you through the app. That's the way that you did it. You would pick the listening one because you listened to the app read it to you. But if you sat there and you looked at the words and you figured them out, then you can pick this by myself one. Remember, after you do your job, okay, we will give you a sticker. So you don't need to put anything over here. You do need to come up here and save as a draft. If you do more than one book in a day, awesome. Just leave the date there. You don't have to fill in anything else. And just put each title, okay, going down in these columns here and highlight, for each one how it worked for you. And I want you to notice that there's another page if you need it and another page if you need it. And you can always duplicate the page again and keep making more pages to show all the great reading that you're doing. So I'm going to come up here and save that as a draft. And that's going to stay in your activity section until you're done on a Friday afternoon. And then you would hit that green check mark to send it directly to Mrs. Peterson. So I can see your drafts. I can put stickers on things ahead of time, but I don't want you to hit that green check mark until Friday afternoon, right? So again, my laptop is getting sleepy up here. Our internet's taking a while, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, okay? And again, I'm going to remind you, you saw our friends reading to self. Okay, your job is to practice reading to self today, whether you do that on our apps and you try our apps, or you do that with a real book. And then I want you to practice filling out that reading log for the first time. All right. Thank you guys for doing our reading lesson with me today. I love you.